So hello and welcome to another video. As I said in my last one, I was going to be doing one on EV charging, but the first one I'm going to cover is actually on EV charging etiquette. So this video is about the charging etiquette, and this is a grumpy old man. So whilst the charging infrastructure is in its infancy, certainly here in Western Australia it is, it's very important that we treat other EV drivers with the courtesy and respect that we would wish upon ourselves. There have been many instances where people have parked their EV in an EV charging bay and either just left it there for ages or not even be plugged in. They're also not able to be contacted. So it makes it very hard for the person that really needs to top up to do so. EV charging bays are just that, charging bays. And many instances, these spots are being taken by non-EVs, affectionately known as ICE holes, internal combustion engine, ICE holes. But to make matters even worse, if the spot is being taken by a non-charging EV, do we call them EV holes? Anyone? Anyway, I thought I would cover 10 pertinent points regarding the correct etiquette as I see it, and I hope you'll find this useful. Number 1, use Plugshare. This is an app that can be used for your mobile and can also be accessed on your desktop through a browser. And folks, it's free, best price, and it really does help. Plugshare is basically, when it's used correctly, will help you see if the charger before you get there is in use, and you can also read any comments about broken chargers, pricing, and so on. So when you register your session on Plugshare, other users can contact you and they don't find out your contact details. It's just a Plugshare message like any messaging app. And you can ask them how long they're going to be, or they can ask you how long. I've used this quite a bit. And in fact, I only used it yesterday to message someone who on Plugshare was going to be checking out in 9 minutes. I was going to be there in 15, and he messaged me back, no, he was about to go. And when I got there, he'd gone. And that was great because I was actually quite low on electrons. So first one here, use Plugshare. It is actually very useful. It's not compulsory, but it's just nice to other users. Number 2, don't be there for too long. 30 to 60 minutes should be more than enough, especially if it's a free charging point. Where I am, there are a couple of cars, EVs, that plug in for 4 and 5 hours at a time. These two I know work at the shopping centre, and they turn up in the morning and plug their car in and come and move it when they have a lunch break. And then I come along and I have got virtually no charge in my car. I can't do anything. Fortunately, they're both registered on Plugshare and put it on there. And then you message them when you get to come and move, pretty please. They go, yeah, I'll be up there as soon as I can. And sometimes that's 15 minutes because they're dealing with customers or whatever, wherever they work. So, if you're going to be there, move your car. After about 60 minutes, you've got quite a bit of extra free charge. If you're paying for it, honestly, it doesn't really matter. But if it's free, then I think you should move after about 60 minutes. It's an abuse of the good nature of the shopping centre or wherever it is, trying to do 4 hours, 5 hours of charging for nothing. Number 3, when your car reaches the required state of charge, go and move it. Don't just leave it sitting there obstructing the spot for another EV so they can't use it. You know, you didn't do that at the petrol station. Put in the thing, squeeze and walk off and leave it there. So you shouldn't do it with EVs. It sort of partly goes on after the last one of don't stay there for too long. But, you know, if you've reached 80%, move the car. You don't need any more unless you're about to do a long journey. So just think of others. Number 4, put the cable back in its holder, hang it up neatly. Too many times I've come across connector sitting on the ground with a 7.5 meter cable just lying on the floor. Now, I don't know whether that was the previous user or just some idiot came along and thought it would be funny. But, you know, to just hang the cable up neatly and to put the plug back in the holder is a much better idea. It's a bit like people that don't put their shopping trolleys back in the correct spot. You know, it's just pure laziness. Then number 5 would be, in addition to the previous item, you know, put your shopping trolley back, put the cables back, don't litter. I've come across a few charging spots that looks like the previous charger had just dropped stuff out the window. Don't know whether it was them or just some other kids messing around, but you know, I come to a charging spot, I usually end up cleaning up a lot of the stuff. So just think of other users. Number 6. So if you do come across an ice hole taking up the charging spot, so that's a petrol car parking there, be polite and never abusive. If they're not around, just leave a polite note on their windscreen advising them that they've parked in a designated EV charging spot, which has caused an inconvenience to other people who need to charge up their car. I've done that on a few occasions. Never leave your contact details. I don't think that's a good idea. We just need to educate these people nicely. I have come across a few people who've been coming back, and I've been really polite saying, you do realise that you're parked in an electric vehicle charging point. Sometimes they're really sorry, didn't mean to. Sometimes they've been a little bit, or rather a lot, abusive to me. So you just got to be careful when you talk to these people. Number 7. So despite logging your session on Plugshare, you can also leave a note in your windscreen, like you would leave a note, you know, the parking ticket in your windscreen so it can be seen from the outside. So you can leave your contact details there, a phone number or something like that. And I used to do that, leaving it on the dashboard. But now I have registered with a place called Need to Charge, and you get a QR code. You can leave that on the dashboard. People can then scan that QR code in from the outside, and then they can message you. Once again, no contact details are passed. You just get a message and then you can reply back. So if you don't like using Plugshare, just put a Need to Charge QR code in on the dashboard or in the windscreen. I do both, just so that people can get a hold of me so that I can let them know how long I'm going to be. Number 8. If you're able to, monitor your charge status whilst you're away from your car. Now, I've got a Tesla, and the Tesla app, I can go into it, and it will tell me the state of charge of the car at that point, and also gives me an idea of how much longer it's got until it reaches the status that I've set, 80%, 90% or whatever. So if your EV has that option, use it so that you can then time getting back to your vehicle as soon as possible. The other thing is, if you've got a Tesla and you're on a supercharger and it's finished charging, after 5 minutes you do get charged an idle fee, and that can soon add up. Number 9, don't unplug another vehicle, even if they've finished charging. It's just not on. Try and contact them through Plugshare, need to charge, phone if they've left the number there, but just don't unplug. It's not nice. Sometimes you can't unplug, like with a Tesla, because it's locked in, but some vehicles it's not, or if you're using one of your own cables, it tends not to get locked in, so it can be removed. Please don't. Number 10, finally, stay calm and be polite. Treat others how you would like to be treated. You don't know their situation, so don't assume anything. Not everybody is going to register with Plugshare or need to charge. Not everybody is going to leave their contact details. It's basically one of these first world problems that we've got. So just be patient, be calm, cool and collected. Finally, did I mention Plugshare, anyone? It's a very useful app. You can leave comments that may be helpful. So if you've gone to a charging station and it's not working or it's broken, you can put a comment on Plugshare so the next person realizes that there's a problem. I've done this on several occasions. I've left a message where there was a slight fault with the charge point, but I did a workaround so that I could get it to work. And so I made that comment on Plugshare, and a week later I got a message from someone saying, thanks very much, your little tip helped and I managed to get some charge. So Plugshare, did I mention it, anyone? It's really good. So thanks very much for listening. Please like, subscribe, all those other things. You know what to do. Thank you.